Alright, I'm going to tell you the reason why the JK Unlimited 4-door Rubicon is the best Jeep I've ever owned. I've had Gladiators, I've had the JLs, I've had, never had a 2-door JL or a 2-door JK because I need to carry things. But this one I'm driving right now is a 14 JK Unlimited Rubicon, and it is hands down my favorite Jeep I have ever owned, and it's the reason why I will probably keep it to see if I can go 300,000 miles on it. It's got a little over 140 on it right now, and it is an awesome Jeep. Now, let's do some deep dives into these. They only made one motor. So all the predecessors up until the JK, they offered 2 motor solutions, 2 power plants. So they only made one in this one. They made a 3.8 before this, but it was replaced. So you didn't have an option of a 4-cylinder or a 6-cylinder. That means there's a lot with the 3.6 Pentastar. Now, of course, there's people out there that's saying, well, the 3.6 Pentastar that's in the JKs, that's in the second half of the JKs, they are a Dodge Grand Caravan. They're a van motor. Okay, they're in the trucks. They're in a lot of other Jeeps. Are there vans with the motor in it? Yes. Does that all of a sudden make it a bad motor? No. I've done a few things to this to try to bulletproof it. I put on, with this motor, as soon as I got it at 100,000 miles, I put on the aluminum oil filter housing cartridge thingy. I can't remember who made it, but I went ahead and did that. Went ahead and replaced all the rockers that start ticking and going bad. And look at my puppy dog. Replaced all the rockers that start going bad, and went ahead and did that, and just knocked it all out in one fell swoop. About 800 bucks in labor for my mechanic buddy, and I thought, hopefully, fingers crossed, it won't need anything else. And so far it's been great. Will it probably need a clutch? Yeah, probably will need a clutch at around 200. We'll see though. If it doesn't, no big deal. Like I said, 143,000 miles on it, no issues so far. Mine's a manual. I hear good things about the automatic. I hear it, you know, it's not like it's no AW4, but, you know, this Jeep is awesome. Let me tell you some of the reasons why I love this Jeep. It's got the perfect amount of creature comforts. It's not too much electronics. It's like the perfect in-between. Still solid axle, still easy to lift, still really easy to put big tires underneath if you chop the fenders a little bit, which I trim my front fenders. Mine has a 2.5-inch or 2-inch lift on it and 37s. They rub when I turn real tight, but got plenty of room for flexing. This is an awesome Jeep. Anvil gray. Another awesome thing about JKs, great colors. JKs, especially the late years, they started coming out with some really cool colors. So, in fact, this is how you know it's so cool. Jeep has started re-releasing some of these colors. You can buy a brand new 24 model Jeep Gladiator, and I think you can in the JL, that are in Anvil gray. So that tells you it's an awesome color if they're coming back out with it. Now, again, if they come back out with, you know, razzleberry, bikini green, or whatever these other goofy colors are, that doesn't necessarily mean. No, people like Anvil. Anvil is a really cool color. Stingray is another favorite color of mine. I've had a granite crystal gray. I love that. Let's talk about underneath the Jeep. The axles are awesome. 14 gears. I'm on 37s. I'm in 6th gear right now. I'm not pulling a trailer. I'm not loaded down, but it's holding 6th gear. So that's pretty good. You can't do that with other Jeeps. I mean, I imagine you can with the JL. Let me tell you the reason why I like this over the JL. First, the electronics. I just felt like the JL had too many electronics. I never had a 6-speed JL or Gladiator. Mine were automatics. But let me tell you one problem. The 8-speed, the problem is on the interstate, it's jumping around. I just felt like it needed a tow mode, or it needed something so that way it would just hang in a gear and just stay there. I feel like maybe for a truck, I mean, maybe if you're towing, 8 speeds is great. I don't think you need more than 5 or 6. It just feels like it's just jumping around too much. I didn't like that, especially when I towed a trailer. Oh my gosh, it was terrible. Like, unbearable. And I know they say, oh, it's adaptive. That's another issue with them, because it's got a brain that is smarter than my dog. And not to say nothing against my dog Bailey, he's great. But because it's got a brain, hey, watch out, don't try to steal the show. Because it's got a brain that's so smart, it's constantly learning. And I don't know if that's, I never got mine to learn. I never got mine to learn, hey, I'm hooking a trailer to it, so it needs to, you know, not peg around, always shifting different gears. I didn't like that. One more thing against the JL that the JK has. The JK has a all steel body. The JL has an aluminum body. They do that because of weight reduction, because they're trying to get the efficiency up. How they're tested with these small baby tires. No one who really is a true Jeep owner is going to leave those baby skinny tires on. They need to have big tires on a Jeep. That's what makes a Jeep a Jeep. When I first bought my Gladiator, hey buddy, what you doing back there? When I first bought my Gladiator, the very first, well, not the very first thing I did to it. Yeah, the very first thing I did to it, I put bigger tires on it. Okay. When I put my Gladiator on 38s, it went from okay to awesome. A big jacked up Gladiator, especially 40s. So it's very rare that you'll ever, there are tons of haters on Gladiators. Tons of haters on them. Oh, Gladiator is just, it's just a gay looking truck. It's not even a real truck. Okay. That's people that are staring at them that aren't on 40s. You ever see one on 40s? That is one of the absolute best looking vehicles on the road. And you don't think, oh, that's a truck. No, it's a Jeep with the little bed on the back of it. That's what it is. It's a Jeep Wrangler with the little bed. It's like when you see a Comanche. I'm building my Comanche right now. When you see a Comanche, you don't think, that's a truck. No, it's a Jeep with the bed. That's all it is. I'm sorry. I mean, it's just not. It was literally a design that came out of another vehicle, and they said, hey, let's take a Cherokee and put a bed on the back of it. Hey, let's take a Wrangler and put a bed on the back of it. Should we call it a new Comanche? Should we call it what was the other idea? The new J truck? No, we're gonna call it the Gladiator. That's what it is, because they're just trying to add something to an already great line. The Wrangler is a great line. Now, if the Wrangler keeps departing, then it's gonna get worse and worse. So whatever comes after the JL will be a little bit worse. It'll have too much computer, too much electronics. Would I absolutely love a 2024 Gladiator? Yeah, I would love one. But let me tell you the reason why I would love a 2024 Gladiator. Watch out, buddy. Well, the reason why, or get completely in the shot, get in or out. The reason I would love a 2020, there he is. The reason I would love a 2020, hey buddy, the reason I would love a 2024 Gladiator is because they came back out with Anvil Gray, which I love. That's awesome. That's my favorite Jeep color, and it's super cool and rare. You rarely see a JK in Anvil. They only made them 2 or 3 years. So they came back out with the Anvil. I would love one of those. And also too, they finally upgraded the dash on the inside. and the screen. They didn't go ridiculous, but they got a little bit bigger screen. Now again, I'm sitting there complaining about the electronics. I'm just talking about the user interface. I don't know if they changed the brain. I don't know if they changed all the stuff that controls everything. I don't like fly-by-wire on the throttle. I don't like that at all. I know that's the way it is. And the reason I don't like that is because it can electronically throttle you down. I've talked about this before. And maybe this JK is. I've never noticed it, by the way, it electronically throttling me down. I noticed it in my Gladiator and my Rubicon JL. I noticed that it would, the brain or whatever, sometimes when I was off-road and I was really hammering down and something goofy, that it would start cutting the throttle down. I don't want that. If I want to go bounce off the rev limiter and just go, I want to do it. I don't want to have to worry about the thing saying, oh, slow down, don't do this. So, there you go for that. I love the interior of the JK. It feels still pretty simplified. It's still kind of minimalist. I like that. Man, I just like it. I like a lot of things about the JK. I'm trying to think of. I like the hardtop way better than the TJs. Let me rail on the previous models. If you have a TJ and you've ever had a YJ, if you graduated from a YJ to a TJ, they are a world different. They are so much nicer. I love everything about a TJ. They're just really great. They ride so much better. You can for just not a whole lot of money, you can put a long arm suspension system on them, 4 or 6 inches, and those things are awesome. They're great. Now, then you got to start upgrading axles, because the axles in most of them, unless you get a Rubicon, they're not that great. Get completely in the picture or out of the picture. So the axles in the TJs are not great. The axles in the YJs, they're not great. But I will say this. When you graduate to a JK, and again, I've never had a 07, 08, 09. I would never own one of those. They were trying to figure them out. I consider the last couple of years of the JKs a great one. I would love to have a 16. I would absolutely love to have a 16 in a cool color. That's like bucket list, to have a 16, to have one of the very last ones of the JK. I think they might have made them in 17 as well. But to have like a last of the JKs would be great. This is a 14. I don't know about the heads. I don't know if the heads will have problems. Again, I'm talking about how great they are, and I know they did have a few little motor issues. But tell you another problem with the reason why the JK is better than the JL. This is very cut and dry. If you disagree with this one, go ahead and check out. You are not my friend. You are a what's the word I'm looking at? I was going to say moron, but I don't want to say moron. You are very uninformed. The start-stop issue is an absolute pain in the butt. They just did that for emissions. That is an absolute garbage feature that doesn't need to be on them. If you have a JL or a Gladiator JT, Wrangler, or any of those newer ones, and you have the start-stop going off and on and off and on and all that crap, it will prematurely kill your motor because of oil pressure. Now, the ultimate fix, the first thing you should do is get a taser, one of those little plug-in taser things, and you can automatically override, and it'll turn off every time you start the vehicle. It'll just stay off, so that start-stop is not doing eternal damage on your motor. Because the 3.6, I think, is a pretty good motor. It's got amazing numbers. For a naturally aspirated motor, 300 horsepower, it's awesome. It's very easy to really wake it up to. You put a nice free-flowing exhaust, free-flowing intake. It puts really good numbers out. I absolutely love the power of it. It's better than the old V8s back in the day. The old, I want a Bronco and it's going to have a 260 horsepower V8. This V6 gets 17 miles a gallon. That's what I'm getting on 37s. It gets 17 miles a gallon, and it's got 300 horsepower. It's a blast to drive because it's a manual 6-speed. I'm telling you, these Jeeps are fantastic. I don't know what else I need to say. If you haven't had one and you've been a Jeep guy your whole life, get a nice, clean, well taken care of 3.6 JK. They are awesome. And if you can, what I would recommend is buy an unlimited Rubicon. Let me tell you the reason why you should buy 100% buy an unlimited Rubicon over anything else. Because it's going to hold its value. The value it retains being a JK Unlimited Rubicon is so much better in the long run. And honestly, it's a beast off-road. I'm still waiting for my front sway bar disconnect to crap out. People say, oh, well, they go out. I think they go out if you don't use them on the regular basis. I use mine all the time. Like probably once a month. I go ahead and disengage the front end. The front end gets super slinky. Everyone's like, oh, they're not any good. I have no problem with mine. I absolutely love mine. I think the JK Unlimited Rubicon is the best Jeep ever. It doesn't have a third row, but I mean, it's a Jeep. Does it need to have a third row? I mean, it's awesome. I think they make a third row aftermarket option for it, but absolutely the best Jeep, in my opinion, ever made. JK Unlimited Rubicon. Get one in a cool color, easy to lift, 2 inches, throw some 37s underneath it, trim the fenders. There's so much you can do to them. This, I believe, will be the Jeep that goes down in history as the last of the great Jeeps. Just the last. I tell you another reason why. If you look at the Jeeps with all the ducks, not all, a lot of the Jeeps with the ducks are the JLs. It's the JL people that are the ones that are infatuated with the rubber ducks. The JK people, the hardcore people, they want to build them. Now that being said, I have one duck in the corner of my windshield from a kid that gave it to me, and I didn't want to be mean. He's like, here you go, mister, here's a duck. And I was like, okay, I'll be nice. But Jeeps are not about ducks. Jeeps are about building them. Jeeps are about wrenching, about getting the jack out and doing stuff on your own. Like not having someone change the oil, doing it yourself. That's what Jeeps are all about. Jeeps are all about building them. You're supposed to build a Jeep. And you can do that very easy with a TJ or with a JK. I would an XJ, of course, but I think true Jeeps are Wranglers. Although that being said, I absolutely love my Cherokee. The Cherokees I've had in the past. I've had a lot of Cherokees. I love Grand Cherokees. I love big Jeeps, the J10s. They're awesome. I think the full-size Wagoneers and Cherokees are awesome. CJs, they're okay. I'm not a CJ guy. One quick rant on the CJ, and then I'll get back on the JK and we'll land this plane. The reason I'm not a fan of the CJs is they're so hard to find a clean, unmolested one. They're just totally, it seems like you can't find one that hasn't been ruined. And CJs also, in my opinion, were only great the last few years. Like, that's when they really got the frames worked out. They still are terrible with rust, by the way. That's when they got the frames worked out. They went to fully boxed frames. The axles got good. The powertrain got better. They started putting 5 speeds in them. I like the 4-speed as well. But, yeah, that's just me. I'm just not a big fan of the CJs. I had a really cool CJ5 for a while growing up, and it was a blast to drive. It was fun. I don't know. And I'm a little guy, so a CJ5 is more than fine. It didn't bother me. I'm not 6 foot tall. My knees weren't up in the dash. But the best Jeep ever made, the JK Unlimited Rubicon. That's what I'm sticking with. Hey, tell me what you think your favorite Jeep ever made is. Or the favorite Jeep you've ever had. Just tell it to me. Get in the comments. Tell me what your favorite Jeep is. I love Jeeps. It's my favorite. I've had over 50. I think around 55 or 56. I was up late last night wrenching on mine, busting knuckles. I love to talk about Jeeps. I got all kinds of weird, goofy Jeep knowledge. And I really should have a YouTube channel that's called, just another goofy Jeep redneck guy. So, hey, subscribe, and have a blessed day.